Alright, so I wanted to speak on the upcoming changes that are happening, well, changes that are happening right now, really and truly, and how so many of us are going through a lot of shadow integration, integrating a lot of changes as this, as for one, we're going through a pole shift, and then on the other end, we are also going through a lot of planetary changes right now. And one of them is, of course, the geomagnetic storms that will be increasing. And the way how I see it is the energy coming from the sun, which is a gateway or an energetic portal, and that energy is then coming into the earth, right, and our bodies, but coming into the earth and then coming up from the surface or the inside of the earth and creating certain processes of releasing pressure. One of them would be earthquakes, another would be volcano activity, and then there are the physiological changes that also occur with us as well, which will be increasing. So some of them may be a lot like joint pain, stuff like that. People are reporting joint pain, headaches. Some people are sleeping a lot. Some people are sleeping way less than they would have before. And right now, for me, what I have been noticing has been some deeper layers of imprints. So in my previous video, I would have mentioned imprints, how these imprints, even though we are continuously clipping from one reality to another, these imprints can remain stationary within our system until we actually acknowledge them, until we actually look inside of ourselves and process them. Certain aspects of our external reality will create a reflection of that internal frequency, that internal imprint. And so right now, what is happening is an increase of these reflections. The reflection of the imprint within the DNA being a projector, right? If you imagine consciousness is the source of a projector, the DNA is the lens. So the DNA itself would be producing the lens in which we then interact with our reality, the way in which we see our the many interactions that we have within this physical reality, within this third dimensional field of existence. And so with the dimensional energy that's coming in right now, it is increasing the speed at which these reflections are coming out at us. Life springs forth through us, through our projection or through our perception. Yeah? And so with this, a lot of the imprints that are coming up will be densities that we may feel within our bodies. And it's really asking for us to pay attention, to look at them, to sit and feel into them. It is a difficult process, and for many of us, it can take a long time. Even, okay, so an example for me, one that I would have cleared, right, and still recognize there was recently another layer of it. One imprint that I had was it's strange because it was I wouldn't necessarily say a fear, but it was this thing about just not being in the limelight or the forefront of everything. I preferred being in the background, right? In terms of like if there's a group project, I prefer to be in the background doing like work, maybe advising. Years ago, when I first started making YouTube videos, I had to actually overcome that, and that's when I started making YouTube videos. I think I just dived in head first and realized I wasn't so bad, yeah, but it took me a little while to get there. And I would say maybe in the last 4 months or so, it had come up again, right? And it definitely pushed me to actually feel within myself a bit deeper, like where this all came from. And um, a lot of these imprints come from within our inner child. There's so much that we can unlock through actually acknowledging a lot of these, whether it's traumas, whether they are disappointments that we may have experienced. Yeah, just maybe not feeling seen, heard, understood at a young age, and that then moves into our adulthood, right? And us being able to now process it and become our own parents within those times, basically traveling back to those times and seeing ourselves with a different view, with a different perspective. This alone changes the lens, changes our DNA, and therefore changes the lens that we then see through, right? And our physical reality then changes. It has to follow the new perception that we have of ourselves and the world around us. So that's a bit on what the energy, at least for me, what I have been noticing energetically, and so many things to pay attention to have a heads up on with regards to the inner work that is coming forward right now as we move into a more accelerated cycle. Yeah, so I'll see you soon.